want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
We need that soundtrack thing.
Some soundtrack singer. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
For you. We ain't doing this for us. We're doing this for you.
We're doing it for you.
That's how we roll.
Although we
givers, man. That's what we do. We're givers.
We still be doing this, though.
We pretty much do.
Yeah,
This is what we do.
This is what we do.
If we go to a restaurant somewhere, if we sit on the couch somewhere, if we driving in a car somewhere, this is what we do.
This is what we do.
This is what we do. We're all, sometimes it's about speaking for men. Sometimes it's about speaking to men. We made a commitment, especially this year, to put some effort into helping men level up. Mm-hmm. A lot of us have questions and we know where we want to get to, but we don't necessarily know how to get there. And so we made a choice. We made a conscious decision to bring in some subject matter experts on how to level up in different ways of our lives, whether it be health, wealth, relationship, looks, everything. All this. And so we got all kinds of guests lined up. I mean, for like a while. We got a lot of guests lined up.
We do. I like that. Guests, man.
I
like you've been on the ball.
Boom, man. We've been making it happen. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, and that was really aggressive. But so today's one of those days. Because guess what, JBK?
What's up?
Most of what people hear from you ain't coming out your mouth.
That's true.
Most of communication is not coming out your mouth. When you walk into the room, you're already saying something to people. You're already saying something about yourself. You're already saying something about what you stand for, what you're about, why you're there, how they should treat you. You're already communicating all of these things, man, when you walk into the room.
That's right.
You know why? You know why as soon as you walk into the room?
What's that?
Because it's how you look.
That's right. Yeah, 97% of communication is nonverbal. Mm-hmm. Only 3% is verbal. So it's not as about what you say. Although having a good vocabulary, knowing how to speak is a good skill to have. But you can almost go past all of that just by showing up, looking a certain way. You'll get the attention. You'll get the people will think of you in a certain way. And so our man in the studio, if you are watching live, you notice there's a third person here.
Yeah.
There's a dude in the middle.
Good looking dude.
He just, I had to,
I'm mad at you, dude. I'm mad at you. You know I'm mad. You know I'm a little salty.
I'm not going to have the fashion expert come in here and make me look,
yeah, I'm a little salty. Because if anybody's watching this, y'all know, like if you're part of the Mad Men Mafia, you know daggone well that JBK don't come into the studio dressed like that. You know daggone well he got a golf hoodie on or something, a hat or something like that. This knucklehead come up in here today like he trying out for a GQ daggone cover shoot, man, making me look like a chump, man.
I know what's happening today. I saw what was on the schedule. I'm not gonna come in here looking like a chump just because Rob's in the room.
We got the one and only Mr. Robb Cope in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Robb Cope, I'm gonna let you kind of give some background. We'll get into who you are, but Robb Cope is a fashion guru, like a men's fashion icon. I'm telling you, this guy this is what he does. You want somebody with greasy hands that work on your car. Like if you go into a mechanic shop and they all clean and pretty looking, you don't want that. You want somebody that, that looks like they know what they're doing. And this guy, Rob, I mean, this is what he does. This is what he does, man. And so he's with I'm going to let him share the background of the company that he's with, Jay Hilburn. But either way, how you doing, sir?
I am well. This is so fun to be here. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, we are happy that you're here, man. I mean, you made this dude like step up his game. Mm-hmm. So you already helping men level up.
Mm-hmm. That's the idea. Right?
That's the idea. So tell me about Jay Hilburn. Like, tell me about that whole that setup.
Well, briefly, just it's a made-to-measure men's custom clothing company. We started in Dallas in 2007 with a vision from the two founders. Our current CEO is a phenomenal leader. He was in the Norwegian military, and he has built business to consumer companies around the world. And he's taken the legacy of Jay Hilburn, which is to make sure that guys have good fitting clothing and that they feel confident, and they know that when they wear our stuff, it's going to look great and it's going to last, and they're going to get compliments. So that's kind of the idea.
We could all use some more compliments.
Yeah, that's right, for real.
The idea behind the company was to disrupt traditional retail.
I like that.
Guys would go in, they'd search in the mall, they'd spend 3 hours, they'd find 3 pieces after looking through racks and racks of stuff. And one of them would hang in the closet, they'd wear the other 2 for a year, and then they'd give up. So the idea is to promote a longer lasting, better value for men.
So you're like a store without walls,
Right.
basically, but you're like a personal consultant in terms of how to get what somebody wants into their hands in a custom kind of way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is it just suits or other stuff too?
No, we do everything. I tell people we do everything from shorts to tuxedos.
Ooh-wee.
The only things that we don't do are boxers and socks and, some accessories, but pretty much everything in between. And the great thing is we've launched categories that, we've gotten into over the years as the trends, or I should say, the ideas have changed around how men dress. We've introduced things like, zip neck, polo shirts, long sleeve knits, and could be wool, could be cotton, casual pants. I'm talking about chinos, 5 pockets. So we've really expanded the range beyond suits and dress shirts.
I like that. I like those knitted long sleeves. That's one of my go-tos, a black knit long sleeve. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So, because we're here, of course, KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City, on the digital webs everywhere, the interwebs everywhere. So we're kind of us here as a show based out of Denver. I will say, and we talked about this last night on the phone, Colorado is not a very fashion-heavy, fashion-forward state compared to a lot of other places. I'm talking about like when you go back east or whatever, or my brother's in Atlanta, or I'm from DC. People you just don't go out, especially on the weekends or whatever. You just don't go out if you're not like dripping, just saucy. Right. Colorado is really casual. It can be laid back. A lot of guys, if you're like me, you get your flannel shirts from Costco, and all that kind of stuff. And it is what it is. So a lot of times we dress for comfort over fashion, but there are times when we as men need to be concerned about how we look.
Yeah, agreed. One of our leaders years ago said, especially when you're going out with someone special, why would you not want to look your best when you're with the one who means the most? So that's kind of where we start with guys. And then, what is the look that they want to get to? They may not have it right now, but let's find 1 or 2 pieces where, hey, instead of wearing that Broncos jersey to Elway's restaurant, kind of a cool connection there, but I would wear a sports coat and a pocket square. And I guarantee you're going to get a better table.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point, man. That is a great point, and so, man, we're going to get into all kinds of philosophy and all that kind of stuff, man. And like I said, we're just happy that you're here, man. Just the whole idea of men. Do you find that it's a tough sell to get men to really be concerned about how they look when they go out?
It is. It's definitely a change in mindset where they think, I can just wear this old pair of jeans and this ratty pair of New Balance and a t-shirt and that Patagonia puffy jacket that I've had for 18 years. That's fine, but let's maybe step it up to, you never know who you're going to run into, right? Maybe you run into the CEO of a company that you're trying to do business with. Maybe you run into someone that you just want to know better. And like you said earlier, Kurt, that first impression, people see you, you're saying something, right? And so having that elevated casual is what I call it. Back in the 90s, we had the business casual in what I call the khaki era, where that was just the creases and the pleats and the cuffs. Let's move away from that. Let's get some more comfortable fabrics. Let's get more style and comfort, of course, but make it look better. And it doesn't have to be expensive. So that's where we really focus on elevating the look.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think why we wanted to bring you on, as much as, not only is it eye-opening, but you can let guys know that this doesn't have to break the bank, but it also is not just about form, but it's form and function.
Right.
And that's one of the things I'm starting to figure out. I mean, you said the 80s and, you know, the khaki generation. I'm thinking of like double breadths of suits with shoulder pads and things. I'm like, I'm hoping it's not coming back. But the fact that when we're talking to guys, you know, guys wanted to be form and function. We wanted to be like, okay, I want to look good, but I also want to be able to, you know, be active in it. I also want to make sure that I'm not just stuck in my penguin suit and, you know, basically like tied up. So
that's right. Yeah. And it's true, right? We all have, you know, we've gone through the work from home piece and how does that fit in? You know, I just need a good shirt to look good on a Zoom call, right? So that's fine. But as people are coming back out to be more social, they're looking to, you know, how many people are changing jobs these days? You know, they want to make an impression, and they're going to more networking events. They're interacting with those circles beyond their traditional work from home setting. And so that's where we look at as well, how do we develop that wardrobe over time?
Yeah. So when you say developing a wardrobe, are you talking about like finding my style and whatever my style is, and then basically building my catalog or my inventory, building my closet based on my style?
Like, are we going to do like a seasons thing? Like, am I going to learn what season I am and what my color palette is?
You can do that. Go back to the mid-'80s. Yeah. Right. I know some guys who do that. Yeah, it's really a matter of, you know, what is your style? How would you like it to look? But also, how would you like it to feel? Mm-hmm. So I often do what we call a closet edit, where we'll go in and see, hey, you've got these pieces. Keep those. Those are great. But find things that not match with those items, but coordinate. Right. So,
you got to coordinate. You got to coordinate.
You don't want to be matchy match. But
right.
How do we coordinate with what you've already got? You know, you've spent some money. Guys buy clothes all the time, right? We realize that. You know, maybe you don't need those other items in there. Get 2 or 3 good pieces that you'll wear consistently, and build from there. You know, it's not about having a lot of clothes. It's just having about better clothes.
Because you can like mix and match. You can, you know, put this with that and all those kinds of things in terms of what your wardrobe is, mm-hmm. right? You don't necessarily have to have one of everything, but if you can put this with that and mix this up with that up, then that can make a big difference.
Yeah, and that goes back to speaking to styling. Like a look at, okay, what's your preference for colors? You know, shades, patterns. You know, we start with things like blues, grays, charcoals. Some, you know, earth tones, olives, tans, you know, some khaki, yes, but you know, let's look at it from, you know, just a different perspective and add on, right? So we never want to just say, oh, you got to throw all that out. It's just
see, that's why you're not ever getting my closet, because I know that's what's going to happen. But what I hear you saying as we head into this break is quality over quantity. You want to have quality clothes that you can mix and match together and coordinate together. Am I correct?
Correct.
Like that.
Nice.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back with Robb Cope on Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City. We'll be right back.
Boom.
Where the hell is that echo coming from?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, if you're watching us, so everybody that's watching online here, this is all behind the scenes stuff in between our breaks. We do our 13-minute breaks, and then we normally go quiet, so she'll know when she sees the audio track that, okay, that's a break. And then same thing going back in, but then we just hear and shoot the breeze for a minute or two, just whatever. And,
take a drink,
pick our nose, you know,
all
let
that
out gaseous smells, whatever we need to do. You know,
you do you, man. I'm gonna stay.
Hey, don't judge me, man.
I'm gonna stay over
just
here.
because I'm the only one here without a jacket on. Don't judge me, dude.
You knew who was coming in.
I know, man. I know.
And you work in an office job. You could have showed up with the suit.
I sure could have, man, but you know, I'm slipping. I'm slipping, man.
Some sort of sport coat in the car or in the office. All time.
Oh, you better save that for next.
Yeah. That's
we'll get into the tips that men need to know.
Yeah. All right, boom. And we're back.
We're back.
We back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we are back. We are the Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City, on the interwebs everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, over at your mama and them house. You go over there, we probably on the screen somewhere over there. We'll come sit on your front porch, drink some sweet tea, and we talk about all this stuff. That's what we do. We want to help men level up, man. And that's the conversation we having today, man. And,
level it up, man. And today we're talking looking good and feeling good, fashion. So most guys, they talk about, oh, I'm a dude. I don't even worry about that. I got my Carhartt, I got my jeans and whatever. But we're talking about if you want to level up, gentlemen, this is one of the things you got to look at is your fashion and how you dress. I know your girls have been either they finally gave up or they have been badgering you for most of your relationship to step it up a bit. So we brought Robb Cope in, and he is our fashion expert. So tips, Robb, like as we're getting into what should men be aware of as far as being being fashion forward and being a high level man, and what are the tips that you would give?
Yeah, I think it's looking at things that, the sort of do's and don'ts that people have traditionally figured out that are being tweaked, right? You don't have to necessarily match the brown belt with the brown shoes. Maybe the brown shoes have some brown in them, right? Those kind of things, like the socks don't have to match the pants. All those little things we've been told as kids, like, if you wear a pocket square, it's got to match the tie. That's just not, that's very 1980s, right? So we're kind of departing from those things, as well as, just those things that aren't maybe in the top 5 of what guys want to wear, right? The t-shirts that they've had for 25 years, the cargo shorts that are too long and too baggy, and they've got holes in them.
I told you never get in my closet, man. He just named up my closet.
We dumping all that out. We throwing all that out. You about to have like 3 things in your closet, man. For reals.
So tips, and then finally it's looking at fit, right? So I always talk about fit and feel, right? So we want it to fit well. We also want it to feel good, right? Not just from yes, it fits great here and there, and it feels good in the shoulders and in the hips and wherever it is. But we also want you to feel great when you go out and people see you, and their eyes get wide open and they're like, "Wow, that something's changed. Did you lose weight? Did you get new glasses? Did you get a haircut?" And it's so you're making that impression just like you would with those things.
So, Coach Prime's thing is look good, feel good, play good, they pay good, And I mean, that kind of goes along exactly with what you're saying in terms of, when you fella, it's what's the movie, what's the old movie where he's walking down the street to Staying Alive? What's the Saturday Night Fever? When he's walking down the street, he's got that, when you feeling good, man, it's like, yeah, I'm killing him, man, when you stepping out. When you stepping out with that thing, man, whatever you're wearing, and you just crushing them, it just makes you feel good, man. Just makes you feel good at all. So a couple scenarios. I'm curious here. If we throw out a couple scenarios, maybe you can say like what kind of things, a guy should be aiming to wear or have in his closet for that scenario. All right. Job interview.
Definitely a nice blue or navy suit. Brown leather shoes, and a brown belt. Depending on the company, maybe a tie, but maybe not. But definitely a button-down shirt, white, light blue, something like that, maybe stripes, nothing too garish, and also a pocket square.
What is a pocket square for those uninitiated?
Yes, a pocket square is a piece of silk that you fold up and put in the left breast pocket of the jacket.
Which both of you have on, but because I don't have a jacket on because I'm a chump. But anyhow, sure,
that's good. Yeah, so I usually lead with a blue suit. Sometimes it, depending on the industry, legal, financial, could go with charcoal, maybe lighter gray, depending on the city as well, right? Like you said earlier, Kirk, Denver's much more casual. If I was going to do a job interview in Chicago, Boston, New York, Seattle, even Dallas, I would probably wear, light gray, maybe charcoal gray. So, it just depends on the city as well.
First date.
Ooh, good one. First date. Well, I would wear definitely a sport coat.
Really?
Yep. I would either wear a sport coat with a knit, like a polo under it, depending on the temperature. casual up a little bit. Probably a pocket square. You know, if I'm going to Eddie V's or, you know, Shanahan's or Elway's, something like that, I might step that up. Casual pants, a dark jean, you know, what we call a 5-pocket pant, you know, with a different material, like a stretch fabric possibly, or, you know, a softer cotton instead of a wool. So definitely blending the materials. I like that idea.
Coffee date.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, coffee date. Great. Definitely more casual, right? So a sweater, maybe, you know, a cable knit sweater, zip cardigan, something like that on top, possibly a you know, a button-down collared shirt underneath it, maybe a t-shirt, maybe a super high-quality t-shirt under that sweater. And again, like a dark jean, maybe a lighter jean as well. And then, you know, you get into things like the shoes, right? Especially when we're out on a date or with, again, someone that's very important to us. Women pay attention to shoes and belts and luggage, i.e. a briefcase, right? So if you're on coffee, you want to look busy, right? You got your briefcase, you know, step up the game, maybe not that backpack with the Batman logo on it.
What? No Trapper Keepers or whatever?
So, yeah, those are the kind of things, right? A nice watch, right? You've got short sleeves. Hey, you know, what's your accessory? You've got a watch on. Just steps it up a little bit.
Now, something you said before, so a lot of us are public school. What did you mean by not garish?
Yes. Well, I was referring to stripes. So, you know, if I'm going into an interview and I've got a blue navy suit on, I may not want to wear a stripe, like a red and yellow and purple striped shirt. You know, let's kind of tone it down a bit. Maybe a nice, very light blue stripe, or a a light yellow stripe. You know, not just 8 colors in one. So
not popping. You don't want like, you know, neon and shiny, so like that. Okay. And as far as accessorizing now, I know something I've seen in the past. I don't know if it's just a trend that's going on, but some people, they accessorize. They don't accessorize. If somebody gets them into accessorizing, and then they start to over accessorize, and you get these guys like some of these old rock stars that have 8,000 bracelets and rings and 20,000 scarves, so like an old pirate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you know, less is better. A bracelet would be cool, like on the wrist. You don't wear a watch. Maybe 2 bracelets. I would hesitate with, you know, I've got a rubber bracelet with, you know, the Cancer Society, and I've got Lance Armstrong, and I've got, you know, I'm aging myself here, but, and then I've got the puka shells, and then I've got, you know, the string, and then the leather, you know, maybe not 5, but, you know, a nice necklace, right? If you're wearing your shirt, if you've got that first button open and it's a classy necklace, it's stylish. Maybe it's got an emblem on it, it's got a cross, whatever. That's cool. And I think, but, you know, less is more the concept. So, you know, I'm not suggesting show up with a bandana around your neck and, you know,
look like somebody's puppy.
You're trying to rock, right? But, yeah, that's my guidance.
Nice.
So what about hanging out with the fellas?
Yeah, you know, it's all over the place, right? So, if you're going to, let's say you've been invited to backyard barbecue, it's the summer, you know it's going to be warm, you've been invited, you don't know all the people who are going to be there again. So I might wear a nice pair of shorts, a good polo shirt that fits, right? Not the golf shirt that you just, you know, played in yesterday and has a bunch of logos on it. Maybe just something that's a little more clean cut, a little set up without those logos, and just looks nice. And so something like that for a barbecue. Again, there may be you're looking to increase your social network, right? You're increasing your circle. So dress that way. You don't have to go overboard. Not like the Madras, you know, jacket with, you know, or the seersucker suit or something like that. Let's not go overboard. But, you know, dressing for the occasion, of course, is still the important thing. Guys, you know, you're going out, you're going to the sports bar, you know, really anything goes. But again, you want to wear, let's say, a nice pair of jeans, a good T-shirt, right? A great T-shirt that's not, you know, something, that's been in your closet or in your drawer gathering dust for 15 years. And then the other thing I'll mention, you know, let's maybe limit the backwards baseball cap. You know,
You're in Colorado, man.
He went there. He went there. Oh, I know a couple of women who like swear by they love a man with a backwards baseball cap on.
See, so
There's the exception to the
But
rule.
to your
once
point,
again.
I mean, I get what you're saying though, in terms of like, you know.
Yeah, see, I'm over 50, so
Well,
that's,
you know.
that's a little different.
Yeah.
You're getting there.
I mean, I'll get there, man. Give me 6 days, I'll be over 50. What about? I got a good one. What about an entrepreneur who's speaking from stage?
Great question. You know, I think it's time to let the Steve Jobs look also go away.
What do you mean?
The black turtleneck jeans.
With the black turtleneck and then mostly dad jeans. You know, the kind of higher rise with some sort of terrible sneaker. I think you know, if you're gonna, again, I'm not biased against sneakers necessarily, but if I'm going to be presenting, and probably there's people there who are looking to invest in my company. Again, I'd want to wear, maybe a nicer sweater, a cardigan zip up, you know, with a nice collared shirt under it, maybe a brighter color than the sweater. Again, a pair of nice dark jeans or a nice pair of chinos. And this is where I depart from the 5 pockets. Chinos step up the dress trouser a little bit, but they're not a suit trouser. So that's where I would, you know, kind of go envisioning someone who's, you know, running up on stage and is moving around, you know, and want to be comfortable and not sweating a lot. So that's what I would look at. And again, great shoes.
Shoes, man. You mentioned shoes a couple of times, so shoes are important.
Yeah, shoes are very important. Go ahead.
Speaking of shoes, like one of the things that I've started doing, especially with my suits, and you may string me up for this, we'll find out shortly, but the whole form and function thing, I don't like to do the and or the or thing. So I've been getting like really nice leather, like white shoes or the black with the white soles, things like that. And then I'll wear that color coordinated with my belt and shirt. Yeah. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be up on the cross there.
So how many pair of shoes does a guy need?
I
mean, leading into our next break here. That's a tough one.
Good one. I would say at least 4.
What are they?
I would say a pair of nice brogue, like dress shoes, lace-up dress shoes, a pair of nice loafers, a great pair of dress sneakers, kind of alluding to Jason's point, and then also a pair of dressier kind of black, like for evening wear, or a great dark brown, you know, that's just not going to be casual. It's going to be more formal.
No Crocs.
Yeah, basically we're going shopping is what he's saying. We got to go shopping.
Crocs are okay.
Really?
Without socks.
What? Without socks?
We're talking about
You
sandals.
can't wear Crocs with socks?
In the backyard.
Can I wear socks with sandals? Is that back in or no? No, not so much.
Your pants covered with socks?
No. What if you got like crunchy feet though, and you don't want anybody to see your feet?
There are these places that do pedicures.
Really?
So,
but pedicures don't
corner.
fix crunch. All right. Speaking of crunch, man,
We better crunch this break.
Hey, we'll be right back. Madman and Masculinity, KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City. We'll be right back.
Crunchy feet.
You know, I got to make sure the bar stays low around here, man. I got to make sure we don't, you know, y'all dressed up. I got to make sure we don't get too fancy.
Yeah. I don't worry about that too much around here. Well, good. I'm glad I didn't have to go like throw out all my new sneakers I just got. I was like,
I got a couple. I got a couple of the dress sneakers from Johnson and Murphy.
yeah, I got these from like Banana Republic or whatever.
Yeah.
They weren't bad.
No, man.
Price wise, anyway.
Yeah, I like them and stuff, man.
and I can add to that when we come back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
like
what-
dress sneakers too.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, in the old New Balance.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Like, have you guys seen Crazy Stupid Love, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's wearing his New Balance,
Right.
the old dirty New Balance in the
Throws them
suit.
over the be better than they have.
Be better.
All right, here we go.
And we're back.
We're back.
Mad Men Masculine on KLDC. We're talking fashion, y'all. This is time to step up your game.
That's right.
Time to get in that closet and start clearing about half of that out.
That's right.
Listen to our man Rob. He's going to help you out.
It's time for us to be grown men.
Come on, let's grow up.
I mean, you can be casual and all that kind of stuff, but at least be able to be grown man in terms of your outfit, your look, your drip. You know, at least when you want to look grown, you can look grown.
Yeah, at least when an occasion occurs, you don't have to go rent a tuxedo or you don't have to go rent a suit. Yeah. At least have the bullets in the chamber. At least have the ammunition, in the closet so that when something comes up, you can just boom, put it on and go.
It's kind of like tools in a toolbox.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to need a hammer, but when you do, you don't want to be using a screwdriver, right? So, you never know when you're going to need, some Air Force Ones or some Jordan ones, but sometimes you're going to need some dress sneakers. Speaking of dress sneakers.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, and you said I was okay, so we're going to continue talking about that. Get him, Rob.
Yeah, back to shoes. It's all over the place these days, right? And it's good. There's no problem. I mean, what I was alluding to earlier with sneakers is, wearing a suit with sneakers now. You see these guys doing it on ESPN and wherever, Fox Sports, and so they're allowed to get away with that. And some guys can pull it off. I just think, I personally can't. The white Air Jordans with a navy suit just isn't going to be me. And so, but you have these kind of hybrids where you've seen like Cole Haan with their Grand Zero shoes with the nice kind of dress sneaker look with the upper that almost looks like a wingtip, and it has that white sole and it's super comfortable. That's the other nice thing about them. Great for travel, right? And there's tons of brands who are doing this now, and I don't think that's going to go away. And I think they look good, and I think you can, keep them looking good too. One tip I have is, if anyone doesn't know this, is when you have that white sole and that white, not the upper, but the part on the side. I can't remember what the name of it is. You can clean them with the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Ooh, so I bought a whole bunch of those from China.
Yeah. Right. So you guys are sneaker guys, so maybe you knew that already. But yeah, I think shoes are just the better the shoe, the better the look. If they're cracked and old and worn out in the sole, move on to something new.
Hey, can I make the show about me for a minute?
Do it.
All right. So somebody once told me, once you have a custom suit, it's hard to go back. Somebody told me, the first time they had a custom suit and just put it on, the feeling of it is just undescribable. So, full disclosure, before we recorded here, man, you measured me out for a suit, man. And so what does that process look like? I mean, if, me, I'm looking for, man, I'm really kind of thinking, man, I'm going to go for it, man. I'm going to do it. Birthday's coming up, treat myself. I want to treat myself to a good custom suit, man. What does that process look like?
Yeah, it starts with what you just mentioned. Hey, is there an occasion? Is there a need? What's the why behind it, right? So I want to dress up. I want to look good. I've got new occasions. I've got new people I'm working with, whatever it is. So then what we do is we come in, we take the measurements, like what we just did with you. We take 12 or 14 measurements, depending on what we're looking for. And then we can show you, where do we start? Usually I start with either blue, charcoal, gray, or black, right? So depending on the occasion, usually I'll ask, do you have a good blue suit? If you don't, then that's where we usually start. I had a friend who I asked that question to. He said, yeah, I've got a great blue suit. I said, is it from this century? And he said, no. So that's what we determine as well. How old is what you have? Is it like the double-breasted with the brass buttons? Not that that's bad, but typically those, in fact, we know a gentleman in common who can rock that look really well. And that is a great look if it fits. But usually when I see double-breasted in someone's closet, it's from, the 20th century. So that's what we look. And then I ask, okay, what kind of style are you looking for? Do you want it to be a statement piece? Is this going to be something you wear to gala events? Is it going to be something you wear to, garden parties? Is it something you wear to church? Is it something you're going to wear to, whatever the event is? So we determine, and it kind of helps me to reduce the number of 350 fabric choices that I showed you, and then determine where we go from there. Styling is also where guys can have fun. So things like double-breasted, obviously, you know, two-button notch lapel, or a 3-button peak lapel, or, you know, a single-button shawl collar, you know, which is you know, that kind of very formal look. So just depending on the occasion. And then we have fun with things like buttons, lining colors, thread, you know, contrast thread colors, and go from there. So that's how it works.
And then how long does it take?
It's about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the season. So depending on how busy the mills and the factories are. But yeah, it's about between 3 and 4 weeks.
And they literally break out fabric and they stitch together a custom suit.
That is correct. Yep.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, if you don't want to wait that long, just get you a ticket to Hong Kong. They'll get you hooked up real quick.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know a lot of guys who used to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's kind of fallen out of favor. And I'll tell you one thing too around that. Everything at J. Hilburn is made to measure. It's also made to order. So a lot of people are concerned now with sustainability, right? So how do we handle that? Well, every piece, we don't make a garment until we get an order. Right, so we put that order in with those 14 measurements, or however many there are, depending on the garment, and that's when it's made. So the other thing is, you know, we're not landfilling a whole bunch of stuff that didn't sell and is just sitting in some warehouse. So that's what's really effective about us as well.
I like that.
And do you come to people or people come to you?
I usually come to guys. Yeah, I'm in the Denver area, and I have clients from really all the way down to Colorado Springs, and most places in between. So yeah, I usually come to the guy, whether it's at his office or his house or somewhere neutral like a coffee shop, a hotel lobby, something like that. Somewhere we can spread out and look at things and take, as you saw, Kirk, like the measurements only take 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just making decisions, and so that typical first appointment can be 45 minutes to an hour. So.
And what is dressing left or dressing right? Just kidding. Just kidding.
What?
Don't worry about it. Never mind.
What are you making up now?
If you don't know, don't worry.
Man.
No, don't worry about it.
What are you talking about?
I was about to go down the path we don't.
FCC right, let's not go that way. You trying to get us kicked off? See, you're
Pretty
trying to get us kicked off.
I know, it's my turn.
So I remember I was watching a Steve Harvey episode, and he was talking to the audience about suits, and he's like, all you need is 4 suits. I think he said black, blue, brown, and gray or something like that, and then you can mix and match all those. Yeah. Do you follow that?
Yeah, I typically, I like that approach. I think, some guys can pull off brown, some can't.
I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, so I usually am, dark gray or gray, blue, or some other pattern, like a great window pane sport coat, something with a stripe in it, maybe like a pinstripe. And so that's where, it just depends where they've already got what they've already got in the closet, of course. But yeah, skin tone, hair color, that can play into it for sure. Who do they hang out with? If it's a defense attorney in Denver, it's going to be a little more conservative, right? Probably not going to wear the fuchsia sport coat to practice law. But maybe he likes to do that because he's got a house in Palm Springs or somewhere warm and so it just depends on the I try to get to know the guy to really develop the style and make it about them. It's not about me, right? This is about what the client wants. So yeah, it's just trial and error sometimes, with, hey, you like this piece, thought it would look better, doesn't, let's try something else. Everything's 100% guaranteed.
Nice, 100% guarantee. You don't get that almost anywhere else.
You don't. You sure don't, man.
Especially with custom suits.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on. This is up leveling your wardrobe. It's up leveling who you are as a man, and you get 100% guarantee. I mean, you can't lose here, man.
Now, I'm sure there's a guy saying, okay, what if I'm not the same size next year as I am this year?
Very good question. Yes.
Why you gotta put me under the bus?
I'm just saying, I'm looking this way. I'm looking at the camera. Keep my eyes on the camera, man.
I hear this often. Hey, Rob, I'd love to get a new suit right now, but I'm going to lose 15 pounds. That sort of happens sometimes. It's rare, I'll just say. I always tell guys, dress for how you look now. Because, and the reason I can tell them this confidently is our clothing can be adjusted up to 2 inches out or 2 inches in. So whether they lose weight or gain weight, we can make those edits at a tailor locally. So it just builds into the value of the garment. We want this to last a long time, right? I have jackets in my closet. I have a suit in my closet that's 10 years old, and it's still fashionable. It's, you know, it's a great suit. It's not like, oh, this is totally outdated. You know, and yeah, it's maybe a little tighter than it used to be, but I could, you know, if I needed to, I could go and get that let out. So yeah, so that's kind of how I address the weight issue.
Now, how about the point you brought up about, you know, your suit's 10 years old? What would be, because fashion is always changing. I know now we have the slim suits. Used to be the double-breasted with the shoulder pads, and you always had room and looked like you're going skydiving or whatever. But what would be a time frame, or when would you say, like, okay, if this suit is this old and maybe I need to get it checked out? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, I think every sort of 5 to 6 years. You know, you'll meet guys who are more kind of, I won't say trendy, I'll say on trend, right? That they're looking for that latest look. They want, you know, it used to be, gosh, 5, 6, 7 years ago, all the pants were showing the ankle, no socks. You know, that's sort of going away. And so I think just depends on the guy's style. But I think 5 to 6 years is definitely a time when you go, yeah, maybe I should validate and verify if that suit is still okay.
When my son graduated high school last year, my graduation gift to him was a suit. And he didn't own it. As a matter of fact, he barely even had dress clothes. And so, you know, we went to a local store here and got him a suit, and I just got him a black suit, you know, and that's one of the things that I was like, you are not getting one of them ankle showing suits. No, this is for interview / something legit grown up kind of thing. This is not, you're not at the NBA or NFL draft, you know, trying to impress everybody and all that kind of stuff. And so, again, I mean, I think it's definitely one of those kind of getting to the next level, you know, leveling up kind of things as men. And these are a lot of things that, you know, that man, it can make a huge difference when you walk into a room, how people see you and all those kinds of things. And maybe when we get into this next section, maybe we'll, our last segment anyway, maybe we'll talk about kind of the whole idea of how people see you, man, and what these things can say as far as us as men.
Yeah, I know I've had the experience when I've gone to an event and people have only seen me in a certain light. And so I've never worn a suit. I never put a jacket on. They just see me in jeans and T-shirt or ball cap or hoodie or whatever. And, of course, it's Colorado, so you can get away with that. And then I show up to an event, and they're like, wow, you clean up well. And I'm like, yeah. Should I be offended? Like, I'm thank you, you know, first and foremost, thank you. But and so it was kind of that, how do people see you? And then when you show up different, like, how does that affect them?
Yeah. So we'll rock into that in this next break. But let's take a break here. Mad Men of Masculinity, 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City, KLDC. We'll be right back. Boom.
I still can't figure out where that stupid echo's coming from.
You know what I think? I think in our settings, maybe have our audio, if there's even an option to audio out, something different on our phone. You know what I'm saying? Like where the audio is played out at.
Yeah.
Because maybe that overrides whatever volume you have.
Well, that's why when we had people plug in the mics to their thing and then you're broadcasting like that, you can't turn it down all the way down. So
I wonder if we change the audio out in the settings, just like we can mute it or change the audio in.
Maybe
if somehow we change the audio out. I don't know. That whole thing, but cool. It's good stuff, man. This is good stuff. I'm digging this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Do we want to get into price? Do we want to give him a ballpark, or should we just let him call you?
Oh, sure. My son's calling me.
Man, we're on the radio, man.
You should know that, sucker.
Come on,
Buster. Yeah, you know, and then you know specifically, obviously, who you are and all that kind of stuff. I'm curious though, in terms of just the whole philosophy wise, like why should a guy care?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well,
yeah, and I can speak to that a little bit.
Right on.
Kind of.
All right, here we go.
And we're back.
We back.
Mad Men of Masculinity on KLDC, 1220 AM. We got Robb Cope in the house. We're talking fashion. Gentlemen, you got to step up your game.
Yeah. Why should a guy care?
Yeah, another good question. So I think a guy should care because it's uncommon when a guy just puts on a pair of jeans and t-shirt that it affects his countenance or his confidence. When you step it up a little bit, even if it's just a pair, a pair of 5-pocket pants and a nice polo shirt, or a nice t-shirt, like I said, something that's made to fit this guy. The level of confidence rises. They're more of a smile on their face. They feel better about their day. It also gives a guy, when you have items in your wardrobe that really fit and feel good, you wake up and you know you're going to be ready, right? You're not going to have to worry about, I wore that last week and I kind of like that one, but I don't really know. And you have those shirts, you've got a sport coat, you've got, nice pants. You can pick and choose, right? You've got, you're starting to build the wardrobe. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about your day. The wardrobe now is taken care of. One less thing to worry about. So that's why I think guys should care.
All right, man. Are you about to take me literally or metaphorically to the cleaners with the suit, man? The suit you about to do for me?
Yeah, let's talk finances.
Am I going to have to tell my kids they getting less?
Are we taking out a new mortgage?
They better bury me in the suit because this is all that they getting. I mean, like seriously. I mean, how much damage is a guy thinking when it comes to getting a custom suit done?
Yeah, it varies, of course, but I would say, for general purposes, plan on about $750. So that's for a 2-piece suit, right? The jacket and the pants. Add in a shirt, you're in, 125 to 150 range. So all in, under $1,000. You have the trousers, the jacket, and the shirt. That's usually where I start. We don't have any minimums, right? You don't have to have a minimum order of this much or that much. I typically recommend, starting with that and then adding categories as you need to. So, sometimes it can be less than that, right? But if you add things like working buttonholes, the jacket lining, you want to make that choice. There are little areas where it'll bump the price up, but those are pretty minimal anyway. The thing I tell guys is, yes, I know it's more than what you'll spend maybe at Men's Warehouse or Nordstrom Rack or wherever you go. But the quality is such that you're going to wear this for 6 to 7 years. It's going to wear better than those other suits at those retail locations because the fabric is such high quality. This is Italian wool made from these mills that have been around some have been around for 120 years. So that through J. Hilburn, you're going to get the best quality and you're going to have something you can depend on for that amount of time. I'll speak to our shirts for a minute. Just on that, I've got a shirt in my closet that's 8 years old. I wear it probably once a month. So when you look at kind of what I call reducing to the ridiculous, right? I've got how much does that cost per wear, right? It's something like 88 cents, over time. So if you can keep a shirt for 5 to 6 to 7 years and a suit for the same time, when you average it out over that period of time, it really is a good value.
Well, when you're talking about that, I hear quality over quantity in my head, and it sounds like when you take the time to get a fitted suit, to get it professionally made for you, you spend that money, it's going to last you so much longer, and it's going to be something you enjoy wearing versus going down to the Gap or Walmart or Ross or whatever every other weekend to try to get a new outfit because it wore out already.
I could say I remember what I bought my son's suit for that I just talked about when he graduated high school, and that was literally off the rack at Men's Warehouse. And he had like weird measurements. He's tall and skinny and all that kind of stuff, and so they had to get something shipped from some other store and all that kind of stuff. And just for and I think they hemmed his pants, but I think that's about all the alterations they did, and it wasn't much less than that. I mean, it wasn't much less than what you were talking about. just now, and that was literally just off the rack. And yeah, if you want to get froggy and go buy Nordstrom's, I'm not talking about Nordstrom. If you want to go buy like a legit, high-end store to get like a high-end suit, man, and that is off the rack, and yeah, they say it with a straight face too. And if you don't like it, you can keep stepping.
You got Armani Dreams and J. Crew budget. I'm telling you, it's not gonna work.
Something, man. So yeah, I mean, to your point, investment. To your point, one of those things that you treat yourself sometimes, but then also, yeah, look good, feel good. You play good, they pay good.
That's right.
And you get that return on that investment. I think, especially for maybe guys that are single and all that kind of stuff, thinking about how you look when you walk into the room is a huge thing, man. And I think we as guys don't give it enough credit.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And that's where I think if you kind of experiment with this, right? Go to a hotel bar, a nice hotel bar, for example. Show up in jeans and a t-shirt and sneakers. Stay there for an hour, see what kind of reactions you get, see what kind of treatment you get. Not to be mean, but people are looking to serve the people who look like they want to be served. And so go the next day and wear a sport coat and a nice pair of pants and a nice shirt. And you'll see the difference, right? Like I said, you'll get a better table. So if we have that mindset in all things we do with what we wear, then it's life could be better.
Yeah, and talking about making life better and leveling up, gentlemen. If you are struggling in dating and you're out in the world and you just keep wearing the same old thing, like Kirk and I, we support lots of singles organizations, and we are very big fans of them, and we love them to death. But some of the gentlemen we see in there refuse to wear anything other than what they wear every time. And I'm like, well, maybe try something different. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is insanity.
And we hear that feedback from the women that say, I showed up for a date, and can you believe he showed up with a hoodie and ball cap and, with dirty jeans? And I mean, fellas, whether you like it or not, they telling their friends about that.
They're talking about you.
They talk about you when you show up like that. Like, there's basically no effort. And to me, that's what you're saying when you show up inappropriately. You're saying you didn't make the effort, and it probably speaks to your willingness to continue to make effort or not.
Yeah, and that's something, guys, you got to make sure that women are going to talk about you one way or the other, so make sure they have something good to talk about. Go see my man Rob before you go out on this date.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And there is a ring on Rob's finger, so y'all back off. He looks good, and he does his thing, and he's handling business, but step off. Step off. For real.
You can't get into this.
Yeah,
but maybe you can send your man to Rob, and then he can, step him up and level him up and make him a little more presentable for you, so you can talk about him in a good way this time.
Speaking of which, how do people get a hold of you, Rob?
Yeah. My number, 303-818-4779. My email address, rob.cope, that's Rob with 2 B's, rob.cope@jhilburnpartner.com.
Nice. And you'll set it up with folks, you'll plan, like you said, you meet them probably or whatever, you'll make it happen, and and it is totally custom to them, whatever they want.
That's right.
I like that.
And we talked last night, you said there might even be options at times when you have fabric or inventory that could offer an opportunity to have a discount and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, there are sales that happen. They're typically at least once a year, usually in the winter. And so,
is there one right now?
It's not.
See,
man, why couldn't my mama have me at a different time of year?
I told you President's Day, man. You missed it. No, I'm just kidding.
Usually in December. Sometimes it goes into January, as is kind of traditional with clothing and retail. But yeah, sometimes we do, and it depends on sometimes availability is limited, selection is limited, but that doesn't mean it's still that it's not custom, right? So that's always or made to measure as well. So that's the thing.
So there's one suit that I always loved, and I've been trying to find one. I'm guessing I might have to come to you, but it was that like bright blue shark skin suit that Tom Cruise wore in that Mission Impossible. I think it was like Ghost Protocol, whatever. That is a bomb suit. Like, dude,
you just said Tom Cruise, and you think you gonna get you a Tom Cruise suit?
Man, I'm talking to the man right here. Don't be messing with my game. He knows where it's at. He knows what's up.
Yeah, I can dig it.
So let's talk about that suit, Rob. How are we gonna get that happening?
Well, you might be on that 750 budget, but yeah, we can talk. Yeah, I think we've got, gosh, probably 50 or maybe more blue suiting fabrics.
Oh wow, man, it's gonna take me forever.
Oh, so yeah, it's gonna be.
So we have lots of
Man,
options.
I love blue too, man.
All right, gentlemen, when you go get your suit, think about it's like a car purchase. You want to have that interior, that lining. You want to have you know what that paint body looks like. You need to think about it this way.
That's it.
And to your point, it's not just suits. You're talking about helping to develop looks for people and helping to develop style and closet palettes and all that kind of stuff where people have options to. So it's not even. I mean, it's more. We're talking a lot about suits here because I made the show about me. But when you're talking about styling, you're talking about having options. You're talking about like the bigger picture that guys can reach out to you for help with.
Absolutely. And then the other thing too is the time component. I may didn't hit too much on that, but other than going to the mall and thinking, oh, I've got to spend all this time and find parking and go and look at these things. Or I've been online and I'm looking at all these websites. This might fit, right? This might look good, but maybe it doesn't. Do I want to take that? I get it, I try it on, then I return it, and I'm dealing with all that. So I take a lot of that away, right? I meet with the guys, I come to you. I've been doing this, by the way, for 11 years. So I think I have a good handle on, how to do the measurements and how to make the recommendations.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of time away from having to go and do and drive and figure out. So I come to you, show you options, and we make choices.
Here's an interesting angle, and I won't call out any names, but this person is a super producer and may or may not have Little Mermaid color hair right now. But as we were coming into before we were talking about the show, and I was talking about men leveling up, this person was saying, "Oh man, if men level up, that means that women got to level up." Yes, exactly. This is when men are the tide, and when the tide comes in, all boats rise. And so, guys, we should come in and have higher expectations and all that kind of stuff. And that's one thing that we need to bring to the table.
Well, and one of the things that I keep hearing too when Rob's talking is that, gentlemen, if you ever struggled with what to wear, or you just go back wearing the same old thing because you don't know how to level up, you don't know how to make yourself look good, or you're just used to wearing that and you don't want to decide, he takes all that decision process out of your hands. So takes you through this whole style makeover basically, and makes everything custom for you. So now you have this basically made to order closet where you can go in and now this goes with this and that goes with that. Now you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to stand there and go, does that work? Does this belt go? Yeah. It's all been taken care of. So he's making your life easier and making you better looking at the same time.
Boom. You have like a value menu for your closet, like a vending machine for your closet. All that stuff comes together, man. Hey, this is good stuff, Rob. We appreciate you, man. And obviously, hopefully this won't be the last time. We got a lot more we could talk about.
Once you get his suit done, we'll bring you back in and see how you did.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna be looking better than you two chumps.
Oh, I see how it is.
That's right.
It's all now.
I'm gonna be looking way better than y'all, man. Hey, check us out, madmenradio.com. Look us up on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can holler at us. And of course, KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City. Shout out Crawford Broadcasting. Support local radio, people. I mean, everybody and their grandmama got a podcast and all that, but support local radio. These are people in your community that are putting out content for your community. So support local radio. We believe in that. And so super producer Nikki Nicole, I love you. We love you in there, Skittles. She didn't stick her head out from behind that screen.
She mad at you. You've been talking. You about to get it.
I'm gonna get
you about to get it. Well, while he gets it, we'll see y'all next time. On that note, Mad Men out.